Buyers, beware. You got to be careful. There are certain pitfalls that are all around you. I look at them kind of like they're landmines, and you have to be careful when you're out there buying your next home. I'm Dino the Realtor. I want to get into this topic right now, so let's talk about it. Buying a house is one of the most exciting things that happens for people in their lives, but it can also be a very, very overwhelming experience. So when you think about this home purchase, you have to understand there are all types of things that can go wrong during the process. So you have to have your eyes open. You have to be looking for the things that could potentially happen down the road. And I want to go through these things with you so you can have your eyes open for these things during your next home purchase. The first thing out here that I want to talk about is rushing the decision, okay? Now listen. You have to give yourself enough time to check things out. You may just jump into the market, see the first house you like, and be ready to just dive on that right away. And listen, I understand if it's your dream home, it's your dream home, but you still should give yourself time. Research the neighborhood. Check things out. See if they're going to have any type of new developments planned in the neighborhood also, which will help you increase value over the time. You have to look at this as a major investment in your life, so you want to take your time during the process. Look at a couple of houses. Make sure that you see exactly what it is that you do and don't like. I'm just saying, please don't rush that decision, because rushing it is a mistake, because buyer's remorse in the end is the worst thing that could possibly happen. To me, I've seen it. I've seen people go in, find a house they love, and then they have all types of problems with it that they don't like about the house. Let's say 2-3 months down the road, they notice that it's not livable in certain ways. The basement isn't right. There are cracks in the foundation that they never knew about. Whatever it is, you don't want to rush. So that's the one thing. That's number one. I always say don't rush. But then the second thing, don't overextend financially. You can't overextend yourself financially on this decision. And what I mean is, a lot of people just look at what's my mortgage payment going to be opposed to what my income is. But you really need to break down, what are your true expenses? You don't know. There are things that could pop up that you're not going to be prepared for. So if you just have the money for your down payment and your mortgage payment and you feel comfortable there, realize you need to have some type of nest egg. And you don't want your mortgage payment to be so much that you can't save for that nest egg. So I understand sometimes you see a house, you love a house, it's a little bit outside of your range. Now, when it's outside of your range, what do? You say, well, listen, we can afford an extra $50,000 in-house, even though it's going to strap us down the road a little bit. I'm telling you, your life is here to live comfortably. You don't want to be strangled by your mortgage. Make sure that you're not overextending yourself, okay? This is so important. The third thing that I want to go through, and this one I take personal. Do not skip your inspections. This is a major pitfall. If you're in a competitive market, a lot of people will waive the right to their inspection just to offer the best offer to the seller so that they can win the bid. But I've seen nightmare scenarios in my career where people didn't get inspections done, and then they go to remodel the house. There was one situation I'll tell you about one time where there was somebody that bought a house. They didn't get inspections done. And then in the first month of them owning the house, they wanted to redo the bathroom. And when they went to pull the floors up, they saw that it was waterlogged. It was completely destroyed. They had to repair the floor. I'm not just talking about the laminate or what's on top of that. The actual wood was busted up under there, and they had no idea. And in the end, they were very frustrated with their home purchase. And that made me personally sick, because I tried to do my best job for them to find them the best house, and they chose to waive inspections on that. It was their decision. I tried to advise them the other way, but they had to make their choice. Please don't make that choice. Make sure you get an inspection, and make sure you're dealing with an inspector that's good. You want to make sure that you're dealing with somebody that's there to protect you 100%. I don't care if this house is 2 years old or 50 years old. You need to make sure you get an inspection done on it to protect you. You don't want to find some $10,000, $15,000 problem 2, 3 months into you having that property. Now, the next one, do not ignore long-term costs. When you go to buy this house, if you're dealing with the right agent, they're gonna make sure that you're looking at things that are important. Like, how old is this roof? How old's the HVAC and water heater and things like that? Because you could have issues blow up on you that you're not prepared for. A roof on some of these houses is $10, $20, $30,000 that you have to be prepared for. This is your home. There are going to be maintenance costs on your home. There are going to be costs as far as having to fix certain things around your home. You're going to have to take care of certain expenses that you may not be thinking about when you first go into buying a house. You might not be thinking to yourself that the air conditioner that you're buying right now is 10 years old, or it may have to be replaced in the next 5 to 10 years. These are real expenses. These are things that can pop up on you and make things really uncomfortable. And if you're looking at some of them things like, I don't have the nest egg to pay for a $10,000, $15,000 roof, then what do most people do? They finance it. And then that goes into their monthly nut every single month. And right there, you were already at a mortgage payment that you were comfortable with. And now you have higher bills because you're taking on these other expenses. You absolutely have to pay attention to the long-term expenses that you may have on your property. The last one is to make sure you're not making this an emotional purchase. This can be the most exciting time when you're looking for a house and you find one and you love one, especially if you're a first-time home buyer and you've never bought a house before and you find it and you fall in love with it. Now that's normal, but don't let that love for the property have you bypass the little things that could be pitfalls with that property. Sometimes all you see is what you want to see. You see this house, you see that you know you could live in it, you, your family, it's perfect, all that, but keep your eyes open. Take a look around. Go with your agent. Make sure you pick the little things apart. That all goes back to the last thing with the inspection, but pick it apart. Make sure you see all the little things so that you're going into it knowing what you're about to buy. Now, I'm not saying don't buy that house. I'm not saying that it might not be perfect for you. I'm just saying do your due diligence. Make sure that you're not being emotional. Make sure you check out that this house is worth what you're paying for it. Make sure the neighborhood is exactly the type of neighborhood that you want to stay in. The school systems are going to be what you're happy with. There are all types of things that you have to look at that are extremely important during this decision. So please don't make it an emotional one. Now that we've talked about these potential pitfalls, really think about it when you're going to buy your next home. These are important things. You want to make sure that you're protecting yourself in every way possible. If you're dealing with the right real estate agent, they're going to make sure that you're covering all these bases. It's so important. Make sure you're not rushing this process. Make sure you're not overextending yourself. Make sure you're not skipping inspections or ignoring the long-term cost that could be there during this house. And of course, don't let it get emotional. So please, give me a shout, give me a comment, hit the like, subscribe. I hope you found all this to be valuable. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys the next time. Thanks a lot for listening.